It is not necessary to install MySQL for today's class. If you have already installed, then fine. Otherwise, you just follow whatever I'm explaining. I'm also recording this lecture. Yes, I'll not share any lecture slide for today's class. So if there is any important point that I am explaining, please note it down, and also I'll share the slide with you. Sorry, share the recorded lecture with all of you. Uh, so this week there are some changes. Initially, I thought that I'll start with the shell script, and then Ashish sir said that he wanted to take some lecture, but later what happened is there are some emergency, and he said it's not possible for him this week. So now I've decided to start with a new topic, DBMS or database, not DBMS completely, just a database I'll explain. And then I'll next week I'll start with shell script. It's not sure yet that the availability of Ashish sir, but he said that he will try his level best to take at least 2 lectures on OKML next week. So let's see. I'll again confirm from and I'll let you know. So the topic that I will discuss today is one of the most important topic for software development. Any web-based application and all whatever technologies I discuss fine, but the main heart of all this web development is called database. Without database, you cannot do anything with web development. Why? Because the interface that you are designing for web-based, or maybe it's a desktop application or it's a web-based application, whatever it is, you are designing this type of application, this interface to handle data. Why I'm saying this? Because when you'll go for an application, suppose a web-based application is Flipkart. So what Flipkart is doing? It is selling product through the application, right? So these products, all the information related to these products are the data. Suppose you are designing a simple web page for student management, or suppose you have designed a departmental ERP. Suppose. So in departmental ERP, there are multiple classes are there are multiple students associated with this. So you need to first store all the data, and then based on this data, whatever you want to process and all that you are doing through this interface. So suppose you need to, there is a portal where every student should register. So there will be a option there that okay, first time user, so click in register. So when it will go for click, then all the information it should fill, right? All these thing will do through HTML or web page, fine. But when the information will be filled and it will submit, it will go to the server where the server will store it. One option, straightforward option is you will maintain a file and store it in a file, but that is very expensive. Sometimes it is not that optimized. So the first, let us start with this point that okay, suppose you want to develop an application where you need to just maintain the records of all the students. That's a small application. Suppose for maintaining records of all the students, suppose sometime you want to add a new student, you need to search students also. So how you will maintain this record? One option is just maintain a simple file, text file or Excel file, or and you know how to handle file from a programming language, right? I have explained it for Java, you know it for C also. Though I have not explained it for say JavaScript and other language, but it is not that complex. You'll understand it. Not for JavaScript, at least if you know how to handle a file in Java, that you can use in server side also. But now the problem is there are many problems. Suppose these are the data associated with you. You want to maintain all this record for a student. Roll number, name, age, department, grade, and last column MID means mentor ID. So suppose these are the IDs of faculty. So suppose F330 is my ID. So here I have written which student is suppose working under which faculty. So this is the last column. So I hope you are understanding the data, right? So now the real in real world, whatever information or whatever data you can see, most of them you can represent like this in a tabular format. Right? If you go to our main gate security, nowadays they are using software, but suppose there is no software and they are maintaining all this record in a copy, then how they will maintain? Basically, it's a table structure, right? They will write multiple columns And then for each row, they are entering it, right? If you go to our security also, how is issuing key? The same thing, right? There are multiple columns are there, and for every new record, they are adding one new row. Right? So most of the record in real life data you can represent in this fashion, tabular fashion. That's why the concept table is very important in database. So there are advancement is there. You can also store an object. There are many other things are there, but those are not part of relational database. Mainly, we are trying to explain here relational database. You will also learn more about relational database in your second year course. I think DBMS 1 and DBMS 2. I'm not sure that for you both will be there or it will be combined. But yes, if basically you'll understand all these things in more detail in your DBMS course. So whatever I'll discuss today, it's not possible to discuss the entire DBMS. That's why I'm just saying it database. Why? Because DBMS is a separate area. It's like operating system, computer architecture, and you need DBMS is a big course. We have two courses, DBMS 1, DBMS 2. Okay, so lot of things you will learn in DBMS. But now whatever I'll explain today is the high level thing. If you know all these things, you can start developing web applications or start developing any application. Maybe the low level details you don't know, but that you will learn in next semester. So first thing, I think it is clear, right? Most of the data you can represent in this table format. This is the things fine. So if you think that our security guard here is using a register to maintain this type of data, if you want to replace it with a computer, first of all, you need to represent the same structure in a computer file, right? You just maintain this structure in a computer file like this. And now you write a simple C program or simple Java program where you give small facilities like, okay, enter, insert new record, search a record. If you give small facilities, then enough for this, our security, whatever work he is doing, it is enough. Now the question is, if all these things are possible, then why we need a separate concept called database? Because you can design an application based on the knowledge, whatever knowledge you have. If I say that no, you don't know database, but replace whatever work our security guard is doing through a program, I think you can do it, right? If you maintain this type of file, you can do it. But what are the challenges here? First challenge here is, there are many challenges. I'll explain some challenge. One is, suppose you want to insert some record which is in between. You can see the records are sorted in terms of roll number, right? If this is the requirement, and now if you have to want to insert a record after suppose the worker leave, then suppose roll number is now it is 005 and it is coming after worker, then how you will do it? Here you need to shift all the remaining rows, and then only you can put it. So shifting means what? You need to read all these items from the file and to write it back. Shifting doesn't mean that automatically it will perform. It is a file. So in this file, you need to read all the entire content and then you need to write it back again. So, and whenever you are dealing with data, I hope you know about big data, right? Nowadays, data will not be like this. And you will always not deal with this type of small thing like student records and all. Normally, data will be in huge GBs nowadays, right? 10 GB, 12 GB data will be there. Assume that this file has lot of data, and after worker made also, there are a lot of entries already there. And suppose if you want to read, then you need to read 10 GB of data. And 10 GB of data you need to read, and again you need to write 10 GB of data. And then only you can insert something in between. Where you will perform all this operation? In CPU. Remember von Neumann architecture, right? Everything is connected here. This file is in hard disk, suppose. It's a 10 GB of data, big file. You cannot store it. It is there in hard disk. It's a very big file. Big data file is there in hard disk. Fine. If you want to do a small operation here, the operation is very simple. Then you just want to add an array. But see the file required to maintain an order. So just assume that you need to maintain an order. Then you want to insert something in the middle. Then you need to read the entire file and you write it back. Entire file reading means you need to read all the file from memory up to CPU. From CPU again you need to write it back to main memory. So too much communication cost is there. The computation cost is very less here, but communication cost is very high. So can you do it efficiently? This is one thing. So this is one question. Another question is, suppose you want to search a record. And suppose that you need to search a roll number. So what you need to do, you need to scan the entire file. You can do it by writing a simple program, but you need to scan the file line by line. And after scanning, if you are getting the line of roll number, fine, you will say that, okay, I found the record, otherwise the record is not found. But for that, who will compare it? CPU again. So if you have a 10 GB of data, you need to move all the 10 GB of data from main memory to CPU just to compare one roll number. I hope you can understand the complexity here. So it is very simple for non-technical people to write a software, but you are a technical person. I am not considering the people who are just developing a software are technical. They are not that technical. Like people who are doing MCA or GCA degrees, they are not need to understand all the complexity here. But you have to understand complexity. Can you do it better? This is a sorted file, right? If it is a sorted file, it's a sorted array. Instead of going for sequential search, you can apply binary search also. If you don't know binary search, then not an issue. You will learn it in data structure course. But binary search is a simpler search method. So you know that okay, the file is sorted. So instead of going for sequential search, I can go for a binary search. So less number of data I need to move. So yes, you can apply it here. But you need to do specific tasks. If your file is sorted, then you are going for binary search. It is not sorted, you need to go for sequential search. You need to go for different types of operations here, right? Some more complexity will come if you want to delete something from the medial. Then also this problem will come, right? If you want to update something, then also there will be many issues. And so instead of this, suppose yes, it is possible that if you are doing all these update and small things by writing a program, then it's possible to do still maintain by using a file. You can do all these things. But instead of this, suppose a tool is already there installed and it is managing our file. You are not managing it. You are just saying that okay, insert this record. You are just saying insert this record to this tool. And internally tool is managing how to handle this recording and all. So the tool is designed very efficiently. So all the optimization mechanisms are handling by that tool. That okay, I don't need to move the entire file. How should I perform this in insertion such that very less number of files or less number of data should be moved between main memory to CPU. Okay. Or suppose if you want to perform a searching, you don't need to think about that. Should I go for binary search or should I go for sequential search? If you are just saying the tool that okay, search this roll number, and that tool is performing this work on behalf of you and returning you the data. Then that tool is then as a software developer, you don't need to think about it. You will just assume that okay, yes, there is a file I am maintaining for student. But I am not handling it directly. I'm just saying the tool that okay, maintain this table. I'll just say maintain this table. Table will be internally in low level. It is stored as a file only, but you don't have direct access to this file. You are just seeing this table. Okay, and tool is just showing you this table, and just you are now saying this tool that okay, insert a record. Now it is the responsibility of tool that how efficiently it should insert. Okay, you're just saying, okay, give me a data, search this roll number, it is present or not. Now it is the responsibility of tool to find out how efficiently it is searching it. That tool is called DBMS. Okay, that tool is called database management system. So there are many DBMS tools are there. One is called Oracle, right? Oracle you already know, right? Because Java, whenever I'm searching some Java class, Oracle is coming. Where initially Java was not proposed by Oracle. I hope you know. Java was proposed by Sun Microsystems. So I think when we were a student, I think around I forgot the year when Sun Microsystem was acquired by Oracle. So previously Oracle was just database company. So the Oracle and then if you go for a Windows side, then MS Access was there. I'm not sure if it is still there or not. But most for academic purpose, we use MySQL. And that's why I told you today morning that install MySQL. MySQL is also a database tool. So what is database tool? They are in managing data for us. You don't need to handle all the low level details. They will handle it. You just give some high level instruction to this database, and then this database tool will handle remaining thing. How you will give instruction? That instruction you are not giving in English. You are not giving in any program, any other high level programming language. There is a special language for it. It's called structured query language, SQL. That's why you should learn SQL. And in these two lectures, I'll give you a high level idea what kind of SQL is required for basic programming or basic software development. The rest of the thing you'll understand or learn in your database course. It's not a very simple or short thing. It's a complex part also, but I'll ignore the complex part here. Okay, so this is the high level idea how why SQL is required and what is the purpose of SQL. You are not dealing with SQL. SQL is just to interact with the tool. You are saying the tool that do this work. How internally the work is happening, you don't know. And you will not understand in this course also, it's not possible. But in DBMS course, we will go inside that tool also. Why we will go inside that tool? Because there is difference between the work that will perform by a normal software developer and you. Normal software developer will only use the tool. Okay, they will only use the database. They will say MySQL. MySQL is a tool, let them say. They will create a table, insert the data, get me the data, and their job is done. But you are not for that. No one will hire you for that thing. Okay, so and this type of code nowadays are writing by LLMs also, right? So no one will hire you for this. They will hire you to design that tool or optimize that tool because that tool is not a magic box, right? MySQL is not a magic box. Someone has written it. Or Oracle, if Oracle is hiring you, they will hire you to optimize that tool. So what is the mechanism of this tool? How to optimize that tool? You will understand in database course. Okay. Now, so what I said is that instead of going for managing this file, it's better to use the database tool. So here in this class, we will use MySQL tools. So that's why I said you first install MySQL. I have shared two video links. So based on that, you can install MySQL. After installing MySQL, you should be able to use it through a command prompt. So here now it is MariaDB. So though I told you to install MySQL, but indirectly it is also a you can say part of or a copy of MySQL. So same thing you can work with this also. So now I have created I have installed the database tool, and now my database tool is ready. So I have not installed it now. I have installed it 2 years back when I explained SDF. I think in 2023 also I have taken this course. That time I have installed it. So it is still there. So now once you install and once you are in database, first you can check show database. If you go for every command should end with a semicolon here. Databases, I think. Yeah, so how many databases are there? It will show. Databases mean so what? There may be many databases, right? In your if you have installed a database tool, fine, but you are managing database for hospital management, maybe university management, maybe hostel management. So you may have separate databases. So that these are called databases. So you can see there are many databases here: Demo University, Information Schema, My Shop, My. So there are many databases I have created here. Okay, so now we'll just use one particular database. Or if there are first time if you go here, you will not find a database. Suppose you want to create a database for our department. So first time when you are login here, you need to create a database. The command is create database. Suppose CAC database, something like that. You need to create a database first of all. So create database is the first command. So one line command. Once the database is created, you can list all the database here like using show database. And then suppose from here, I will use demo university. So in that case, I'll write use demo university. Then now I am inside the demo university database. So I have already created some table here. So if you want to see all the tables here, then you can write show tables. So there are three tables already created here: faculty, students, and student two. All these tables are created already here. So now you need to understand when you need to create a table. So I'll again start. Let us go back to the file and think about it. Okay, I said about table and all of when you will design a table. So the thing is here you need to connect or think about the real world requirement. So there is a word called entity. So whenever suppose you want to design a software, as I said, for a CSE department, and you need to think about each real life entity. Suppose student is a real life entity, but roll number is not an entity. So you need to find out that the unique entity. So student is the entity, faculty is the entity, classroom is the entity, and there is no universal definition of this also. You only an expert person can define all it. That okay, I need to go for how many tables. You can insert all the information of department in a single table also, right? But that is not efficient. Why it is not efficient? I'll come back to this point. I'm not making it complex. But how you will come up there? How many tables should be there? If you want to design a database for CSE department, how many tables should be there? One table should be student, one for the faculty, maybe classroom, maybe staff. There may be different tables, right? Or you may argue that no, why there will be a separate table for student and faculty? I'll just go for one table called persons. But what is the problem with that? There will be many problems associated with it, right? So, and then maybe you will say that why you are going for a separate table for staff. Let's just use one table for students, staff, and faculty and just write it person associated with this department. If you go for a single table, what will be the issue? Okay. If you, when you need multiple tables, all these things comes under database design part. And it is not possible to discuss everything here. So if you want to design a database, right, you will not directly come to this part. Normally, how many tables should be there? What should be the connection, relation between each table? All these things are designed by a database expert, not a beginner. And they will know that, as I said, there is no, it's not like that. You cannot say that, okay, this one is the optimal one. There are some rules there, and those rules are part of database design that you will understand in DBMS course. There are some rules. But even after using these rules, when you are starting, it should, it's all depend on the experience. Okay, so based on that, you will come up with some tables. Okay, fine, and then you will write all this, create all these table in database, and then you start inserting data. This entire part is called database design, and it is not that simple. It for a small requirement, it's very simple. But sometimes, suppose you are designing a database for IRCTC. Forget about IRCTC. Even if you want to design a database for our entire IIT system, it's not that simple. It's complex. You need to go through many algorithms, many design, and then only you can final this. Once all these low level things are done, first how you will start. If I say tomorrow only to that design a database or design a application ERP system for our department, what you will do first? You will start interviewing people, right? You start meeting faculties, your students, what is the requirement, how the system is going on. You write everything, right? Note it down in maybe in English also. This is the first step. Meeting, interacting with the people, understanding the requirement. From that point, you slowly start that what will be the entities, what will be the requirement, how and slow. And the final step will be how many tables will be there, what will be the columns in each table. Okay, what is the name of each table? All these things are the final step. That is called database design step. Once this is done, then it is ready. You know that how many tables you need to create. But all these things we are not doing in this course. Why? Because if you think for a simple design, or the application for which you are designing, that requirement is very small, then you can ignore all these complex steps also. Suppose, and here assume that your requirement is just to maintain the student records. Then one table is enough. You just maintain this type of table, right? So now, if this requirement is clear that what you need to do, and it is clear that how many tables you need to create, then you go to database and start creating the table. Here my requirement is very simple. I'll just create one table called student table. And how to create this table? If you go here, so in this table, there are how many columns are there? Roll number, name, age, department, grade, and mentor ID. So what do you think? What should the type of roll number? It's a integer or a string? What do you go for your roll number? It's a, what do you think? It's a string or type? It's a string, right? So here we'll call it var character. VARCHAR, not string. Var character and then the length of this also. Name is again a var character, right? Age is an integer. Department, you can say var character. Grade, it's also an integer. MID is again a var character. It's a string, right? So now this is fine. Then it's better to give each record here a unique ID. Each row should be uniquely represented by something. Do you think roll number is uniquely representing each row? Yes, right? So this is a table for student. So in this student, each entry represent one student, right? Each entry means each row represent one student. And if I say roll number, then roll number is uniquely identifying a student. So you are not allowed, basically you should not write two rows with same roll number, right? I think I'm correct, right? If you find that two rows are there with same roll number, then something is wrong here. So for that, that is called key or primary key. So when I will design this table, I'll also make sure that roll number is the primary key. If the roll number is primary key, then you are not allowed to insert multiple record with same roll number. Again, these things you don't need to handle. You just mention primary key and then the database tool will handle all these things. If you are trying to insert a duplicate one, database tool will prevent it. You don't need to do all these things. That's why I said, what are the benefits? There are many benefits of using a database tool. Okay, and then name is, suppose name should not be null. So in that case, you can mention that, okay, this column should not be null. So you can write not null. Okay. So, and so let's try to design this table. So you need to start with create table, and let's give a name to this student 3, suppose. Third bracket, create table student 3. Why I'm doing this? Because I have already, the table is already there in my database. I'm just creating it to show you how to write it. Remember, this is very simple. First thing is role, right? So role is var character. Size, maybe I'll give 20. And this is the primary key. Okay. So role is the first column of this table. I'm just writing the code yet. It's not executed yet. So table is not created yet. The next is name. Name is again var character. Suppose the size is I'm giving 30 and it should be not null. You are not allowed to insert anything empty role a name here. So I'm giving not null. Name cannot be null. What else after that? What was after that? Department, right? Suppose department, again it is var character. For age, I'll insert after this. So suppose 10, and then age is an integer. Then M mentor ID. I hope I have not done any mistake here. Huh? 6. Okay. For grade, I'm not using it. Just I'm saving time because this table is already there. I'll just show you how to create a table. So this is the syntax of creating a table. And if I press enter now, then table is created. Okay. So what I have written here is called SQL. And as I said, you no need to do any task. You just need to inform the tool that create a table for me. And this is the language through which you will communicate with the tool. You are just informing the tool that MySQL is the tool that create a table. This table will be created. What you know it as a table because you are the database user, not you are not inside. You are not going inside MySQL. Suppose you don't know how MySQL is handling this table. You are just saying the create a table. It will create a table for you. How internally, what MySQL is internally doing? Internally, MySQL will create a file for it. What type of file it is, how it is handling, what are the index, what kind of advanced data structure it is using for it. All these things are hidden from you. You just know this table. It will just display a table for you, but there are a lot of internal mechanisms are there how to efficiently manage this table. Ultimately, it is storing in a file only, but you are not handling that file. Okay. Now, if you want to see the structure of this, then you can write describe or you just write DESC and write student 3. So if you write describe or you can in short you can write DESC also, and if you write this table, you see the structure of this table. Because this is the type of one null is low, key is primary, and default is null. So all this information are showing here. This is the structure of a table. But maybe after creating this table, if you think that no, this is not my requirement, I have done something wrong, and what I want that no, I don't want to add roll number. Instead of this, I want to go for an ID. Suppose it's not realistic for your design. If you want to design a student record here, suppose you want to go for an ID. An ID is an integer, suppose, and every time you are inserting a record, ID should be automatically implemented. Something like that you can do, right? But like serial number or something. So in that case, instead of doing this, you can add something different also. So for that, you can basically what I'm trying to say is if you have already generated table, you can also modify it. To modify a table, you can use alter table command. Okay, but we hardly do this. Why? Because once you have created table, the table is empty yet. You have not inserted any data yet in this table. Once you start inserting a data in this table, then modifying the structure of a table is very different. I hope you are understanding what I am saying of modifying structure means. No, I don't want the roll number as var character. I want it an integer. These are called changing the structure of a table. Now you can change if you go for alter table command. I'll not explain alter table command more detail in this course. It is hardly required. Best option is you delete this table and create a new one. Okay, but sometime it may be required. Then in that case, you can use alter table. Now, if the table is done, what next? Next is you can insert some data here. So inserting a data means also you just need to inform the tool that insert a data here. So for that, you need to go for this insert into student 3, and then you need to write values. Here you need to write all the values. So first value will be roll number. So suppose I am writing BTech 2020 underscore 01, suppose. This is roll number. Then name. Then name is suppose Rahul. Then after name it is department. Department is CSE. Then after CSE it is age. Age is an integer. So I'll just write suppose 23. And then last one is called MID. MID is again a string. So suppose faculty. If I now press enter, then one row will be inserted in this table, one data. Why is this? Check this for command here. Insert into is the keyword here. You need to first write insert into, and then you need to give the table name where you need to insert. Again, then after that, values is again a keyword here. You need to go for insert into table name, then values, and then there is a bracket. Inside this bracket, you need to write all these variables in sequential order. If you write 23 past, then it will not understand. Because here it is assuming that you will write the same order as you have created the table. So now if I press enter, then one row is created. Okay. Now how you will see this? Let's see the content of it. For checking the content of this table, you need to write this. Select star from table name. See, you can see the information that you have stored in this table so far. Now let us go for inserting a new row. If you insert a new row here, then just change the roll number here, and instead of Rahul, suppose I am writing Wakar, and CSE, suppose it is 25. Then one more row is inserted, right? Now, if you want to check again, anytime if you want to see the content of this table, then you will write select star from table name. And if I press, then see there are there are two lines now, two rows now, two records are there. Now, try to enter one more record. Suppose this time it is Saurabh, CSE 24. What do you think? If I press enter, what will happen? It will insert. It will show error. Why? It is roll number is if I press enter, it will not duplicate entry. Why? Because you are not allowed to insert same roll number again, because roll number is the primary key and roll number must be unique for every student. This roll number is already there in the table. And how it is doing? Because you have mentioned this is a primary key. If I drop primary key, then this will not happen. Okay, so all these things are important. This is only happening because I have mentioned that this first row is primary key. First column, roll number is the primary key. And that's why it is happening. Primary key uniquely representing each row. And you are not handling it. Suppose, so now whatever so far I have doing here, I have done, it is perfectly relating with whatever I have explained about database tool. You are just giving a command to database tool. First command you have given is create a table. And there is a syntax called create table SQL that you need to know. And through this, you are just giving a command to tool and your table is created. Then after that, you are saying, okay, show me the table. There is a command. Okay, then you want to insert something, then insert table. This is also a SQL query. SQL query. You are just writing this query and giving this query to the tool. Now it is the responsibility of the tool to open the file, inserting it, if it is already sorted file, how to maintain efficiently, how to shift all this data, everything are maintaining by the database tool. You are not handling all these things, right? Okay. Similarly, after that, if you want to just check what are the content of this table, then you just write select star. Basically, what you are doing, you are just giving some query. You are sending some query to the database and database is responding to you. And those queries are written in SQL. Whatever I am writing here are actually SQL statements. Insert into student, select star, all are SQL queries. Okay. Interesting thing will be here, suppose, I'm not sure if it will work or not. Suppose if I go for alter table and student 3, and if I write drop primary key, okay. Now if I go for inserting this, it will insert. If I go for select star, then it is see there are two things here. Why? Because from this table, by using alter key or alter table command, I drop the primary key. So now a roll number is not representing as primary key also. Now it will not check the uniqueness. Since it is not checking the uniqueness, so now you are allowed to do this. So I hope you are understanding all the details. One more point here is, I said insert into this, but this is one option. Another option is, suppose you don't want to insert some values, then you need to go for, you need to mention which values you want to insert. Suppose you just want to insert role, name, and department, suppose. Other three, age and MID, you don't want to insert. Then here you can write this and you remove this too. It is not required. Then also it will insert here. Obviously, it is not primary key, but let's go for a new one. If you, this will also insert. Oh, why it is not? Yes. Now see, the last column is, last row is important. Null, null. Okay. So there are two types of insert command. You just check here. I'll go. This is one type where it is you just write insert into table name and values. If you are going for this, then all the attributes you need to give sequentially. Roll number, name, everything. If you are missing something, then there will be an error here. Another option is just mention that what kind of values you want to store here. It is showing here. Here. You need to mention that, okay, these three just you want to insert, and then in values you just give the information of these three. At the beginning, better to go for this one. This one is the better one. Okay, but sometime it some variation is required. So now I think from this demo in your table, I have shown you how to create a table. That part is done. How to retrieve the data, select star is fine. Don't worry, next class I'll go for detailed SQL. Today I'm just showing the high level thing. SQL is not that one line thing. SQL is also a complex part. So okay, I'll come to this point again. I'm just showing the some important point. Now let's go to another table. So there are multiple tables here. I think the student 2 table is already, there will be multiple things here in this table. Okay. Student demo university student table. Maybe I'll go for students then. Okay. So this students table is already there. I have created it before. So if you see this table, and if I show you the structure of this table also, for structure you need to write describe, DESC, and students. Then you can see the structure of this table also. This is the structure of this table. Roll number is there. Roll number is primary key. Name, yes, department, almost same information is there here. Now, this is the current data of this table. Okay. Now, if I tell you that find out the or display the student details which are working under F330. Okay, so you don't need to display all the content. Here you just need to display the student records which are working under this faculty F330. Then how you will do it if it is not, you are not using database. Suppose the exact thing is there in this tool. Suppose if I give you this file and if I say write a program to do this, how you will do it? You will write a program to read this file line by line, and then you will, once reading a line, you will tokenize it. Tokenize means separate all these four things, and then you will concentrate on check the last thing, that if MID is matching or not, because you are searching for F330. If it is matching, then you will display that row. Otherwise, you will ignore it, and you will just scan the file. That's called file scanning. You can do this, right? Here also same thing. You can instruct that the tool and MySQL will do this for you. Some complex thing. Now my query is, find out the average age of all the students working under F330. How you will do it? Can you do it? Give me a high level idea how you do it. I need to find the average age of all the students working under me. My ID is F330. How you do it here in the program?
Read each record and for each record you're selecting some different by the download.
No, step by step. First step you will read each line, then next step is what you will check. No, no. Before that you need to check something.
Can I check that?
Huh?
So tokenize and check the last.
Yeah, ignore the token, but first of all, you need to check the ID. If the ID is not F333, then that is not important for you. First, you need to filter out all the unnecessary data. Unnecessary rows. Unnecessary rows are if it is not F330, then that row you need to filter out. That is not counting as a part of your average calculation. But if it is F330, then you need to maintain a variable. Then you can add those A's. At the same time, you also need to maintain a counter for how many records are coming. So here you will add 21 plus 22 plus then 20, again 22 is there. So there are three records here. And you also need to maintain a counter which is how many records you found for working under this same category. And then you can apply the average formula. You can calculate it. But the thing is complex, right? This is how I'm just giving that there may be many complex requirements. And all this is fine. That's a very tough thing. That is not possible also always. And here in database, if you are using a database, then you have straightforward thing for it. I'll just write a select AVG average age from students where MID is F330. See, it is showing the average. You just need to write this. Instead of going for all the complex operation through file and all, whatever you say, it is correct. You can do all these things. You just need to write this. So that's how this is good for software developer. But you should know the internal step also. Why you should know? Though I am not discussing in SDF course, but you learn it in DBMS. Why? So people will not hire you to write this code. Definitely not. Here we are discussing all these things in SDF course because you may need to design a software and all, but fine. But your main job will be how DBMS is doing all this thing. And for that, the steps that you said just before this, those are important for you. How you need to optimize that part. Because you need to work inside a database tool to optimize that query. This is called query. I'm giving this query to a tool. Now it is the responsibility of database tool. Here it is MySQL to optimize this query and execute it in an optimized way. Why I'm saying optimized way? If it is not optimized, then the problem here is the problem lies in von Neumann architecture. Because I say the data, suppose the student, you are finding this average in the student table, right? Assume the student table is a 10, suppose a 20 GB of data. It is stored in hard disk. If you are not managing it efficiently, then if you need to move 10 GB of data multiple times from hard disk to main memory and main memory to cache, then it is a very time consuming process. For that, how to optimize it and how to do it in a less number of data movement and all these are part of called database optimization for query processing optimization. All these things you will learn in DBMS course. Those are very important. So that's why I said in this course, you may not be expert in everything, but you will get a high level idea that what you will learn in next 2-3 years. So first I explain what you will learn in OS course, then I explain what you will discuss in computer architecture. Now I'm giving you a high level idea what you will learn in DBMS course. Okay. And the other thing was very simple. So suppose the first requirement was select star from student. I said I only want to display the records who are working under me. Then you need to write where MID is F330. If I write this, then only those records are showing whose mentor ID is F330. Just remember this syntax, what I have written here. Select star from student. So here select is the keyword. From is again a keyword. Select star from students. It is I think clear from here. From student from which table? Checking every student. So if you just write select star from student, what it was doing, that I have already shown, right? If you just write select star from student, it is displaying all the rows. But you don't want to display all the rows. You want to filter out some rows. It's like in any web application, like Flipkart or Amazon, sometimes we can filter, right? Then okay, I want only mobile from this brand. So you go for filter and select a particular brand. Then you are only it is only displaying that particular brand only. So what they are intended to mean, just adding a where clause there. Select star from someone's mobile table where brand equal to MI. That is only displaying this. You can do this efficiently by just doing this. Maybe in your web page there are all these things, okay, filter by brand. The moment you select a brand and click to filter, you just change the query to this. Where brand is this, then it will just display only those information available for this brand. That's how SQL is very, very important and very, very powerful. So now, if I don't want to display all these details, I just want to display roll number. Then instead of star, you can write which you want to display. Then only roll number. If you want to display roll number and name, then like comma name. Then only this two will be displayed. If you say that no, I don't want to display it as a roll, means basically here you say that no, I don't want to display the roll. I want to write a full name. Then you can write here roll as roll number. Then see the difference between here roll, it is roll number here. So sometimes if you wanted that, okay, no, I don't want to display the exact column name. I want to rename the column so that it should display better. It should reflect the meaning in a better way. Then don't just print this previous small ROLL. You can change it to roll number also. If you just write this code, select roll as roll number. S is a rename operation. You can rename it to this and now it will display roll number. Fine. Now the next thing is I am displaying the complete table to you. I want to delete a record. Suppose I want to delete the first record here. How I'll delete it? So for that I need to write delete from. If I execute it now, then everything will be vanished. It will delete everything. Delete from table where if I write roll is, then I write CS 2024 BT 0001. Then the first row will be deleted. If I now go see first row is not there. So this is the delete command. Delete from student. If you just write delete from student, then everything will be vanished. Table is not deleting. Table is, you cannot delete a table through delete command. There are two types of command here called DDL and DML. I am not explaining this detail today. But if you write delete from this table, then only table is becoming empty. Records are deleting, not the table. If you want to delete the table, then command is called drop table. Okay, so these are two different things. A table will be still there, just you are making it empty. Okay, so for that you need to write delete table and then from delete from this table, and you need to write, if you don't want to delete the entire, remove all the records, then you need to mention here in where clause which record. Okay, now let me make it something more complex. Now what I want to do is I want to delete all the records, all the student records who are working under me. Okay, so here instead of searching roll number wise, I can instruct something like this. Okay, delete all the records who are working under F330. For that, what I will write? Same concept. Where is the delete? Delete from student. I only need to change this where part here. Where M ID equal to F330. In this case, it will delete 3 rows, right? If I execute it, see it is saying, okay, 2 rows affected. Why 2 rows? Because already I have deleted 1, so there is only 2 rows available with F330. And now if you do, there will be no record for F330 here. So this is how you want to delete. Similarly, there is a command for update also. How you can update, if you want to update a value, you don't want to delete. Suppose the Sanjay way, this name is not correct. Suppose if you want to change the name, then also you can edit this name. Okay. So update command I'm not showing, but almost similar. You just need to write update from this table and you can do this. Another interesting part is, suppose if you write select star from student, then this one will display fine. But currently this is sorted as per roll number. Suppose sometime you want to sort it based on age. This is also a common thing, right? In that sort by price in descending order, sort by popularity. All these things you do. Suppose here sometime I require data is stored in a different way, but I want to sort it based on age. Then you need to write order by age. And then see, it is sorted in terms of age now. So this is also a common thing, right? Sometimes you just say, okay, oh, this is the list of all mobile, but you want to sort it based on price. Sometimes low to high, sometimes high to low. That you can display here. Now by default, it is going low to high. You can maybe write DESC, descending. Then it is going the separate, the reverse way. If you are not writing anything, then by default, it is ascending. Okay. Don't worry much about this SQL syntax. Next class, maybe I'll spend less time on demo. I'll use a PPT, and from PPT, I'll show all this syntax to you. And that PPT I'll share with you. So from that PPT, you will get all the syntax. But still, I'll suggest you that you watch this recording once more and try to recreate whatever I'm saying. And that way, that is better. Through this, you will understand all this thing in a better way.
You select by an automatic.
Ah.
The original table won't get better.
No, no, no. This thing. That's the original table is doing thing. Here also, this order by is not a straightforward thing. Suppose you have 1,000 of data, or maybe 20,000 of student records are there. You are not changing it in file, that is fine. But you are sorting it dynamically into display here, right? That sorting is also not so straightforward because it's a huge data. And sorting algorithm, maybe bubble sort, you know, right? Bubble sort is not efficient. Even the efficient sorting algorithm, like you will learn it in data structure course, quick sort, smart sort, those are not directly, no, you cannot apply here. Why? Because sometimes the data that you want to sort is not fitting in the main memory. What is the RAM size of your desktop? Suppose 16 GB. The record is more than 16 GB, suppose. So that the student record is a 32 GB of table. It may be possible nowadays. It's very possible. If you are thinking about the mobile phone information storing by Flipkart, it may be is crossing that size. In that case, sorting is not that easy. For that, you need to implement something called external sort. So how to sort data? Here you are just writing order by and your task is done because you are just instructing the tool. But it is for MySQL, it is not simple. MySQL, when in DBMS core, you'll understand there is a complete chapter is there on how to sort data. Basically, you need to go for external sort. And what you will do and how you perform external sort, what is the efficient way, you will see a complete chapter there. So things are very complex inside this tool. But here we don't care. We just say order by and it is doing it. And you can see most of the time it is doing in runtime. Say, oh, it is very efficient. Why it is efficient? Because the code written inside is efficient. Okay. So now you can say that, okay, how you will connect all these things with your web application. You can say that maybe you are giving an example of Flipkart, fine, but how this is connected with web application? Because first you will create all this database. So how many data, how many table is required and all. You will create a database first. Database may or may not be in same server. I said our client server concept is still you remember, right? This web application must be in a server. So your data, same server, it can be in a different server also. Sometimes database are stored in a separate server also. So first of all, you need to create all these database in a server. And whenever you are creating this from this server, application server, you just need to call the SQL command. And SQL command will be executed in the tool and result will be again given to you. So whatever you are thinking, suppose this command, if I go here, this command, this you will give only this command to the data SQL tool, and SQL tool will give you this result. Once you get the result, you just need to go through the result and format it as far you want to display, and then it will send to the client. That's how we interact with the main the software and database. So I'll come to this point later, but I hope you have a high level idea about database now. One more complex part that I have not. I said that okay, instead of going for this file, you just go for a database, and I have given some examples. Some complex things here are what will happen if your table destroyed. Remember, just imagine all the records of IRCTC. Suppose something happened to their server and some information are deleted or removed, then what will happen? Suppose something happens and all these things are deleted. So then there are a lot of other things also you need to manage through database. I'll explain all these things in next class. I'm stopping it here.